Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar today. Today's topic in our webinar is about the autumn release 2022, a special focus on the new functionalities of our CTI data connector for Salesforce. Our presentation today will be recorded as usual, and of course we will share all the slides, the information, and even the recording of this webinar in a follow-up email. If you have any question during the presentation, please do not hesitate to type them in the control panel. And in the end, we are happy to answer your question in the Q&A session. For today, we have 4 speakers from our side. Our Managing Director, Mr. Dieter Herle, myself, Christian Bresnitzer. I am Senior Customer Success Manager, and I am the contact person for our customers in the after sales step. Then we have on board our great colleague, our senior account executive, Mr. Chidoben Chukwuemeka. And then we have Mr. Simon Rakel. He is the senior engineering team lead for support and will present us the technical part in this webinar. Let's start with the agenda for today. We will begin with a product overview of what we provide with Salesforce. After that, we will present all the new features in this autumn release, and then we will have a live demonstration of the new features. After that, we will give you a quick overview of our new product and features which are coming soon. And for today, we have also prepared a poll, and more information about the poll comes in a later part of this webinar. And we will end today this webinar as usual with a Q&A session. I hereby hand over to our management, Mr. Dieter Herle. He will give us a product overview.
Christian, thank you. Yeah, I give you today an overview about our Mirage products, and then especially what is new in the release and where are the highlights of the release. So first, if you are already working with CTI Data Connector, you probably know our main product, and that's also the part where we have the webinar today. It's CTI Data Connector, but we also have an integration in Service Cloud Voice. That's the CTI product from Salesforce. And within one Salesforce organization, you can mix both products. So if you have a service-oriented team with Service Cloud Voice and a sales team, then you can mix both products. And for some of the telephone systems, we offer contact center suite. That means we have a call distribution based on Salesforce data. For example, a call comes in, it retrieves the name of the caller, greets the caller, checks who is the account owner, and then transfers the call to the account owner. And the second product here is to do the audio archiving of a telephone call, archive it and link it with Salesforce so that when you are on a contact level or in the telephone record, you see there's a telephone recording. If you are interested in these add-ons, then just contact sales and we can then explain you the telephone systems which support the contact center suite. And especially important if you plan to switch the telephone system, we support now over 100 telephone systems, cloud systems, on-premise systems, and including Microsoft Teams. Yeah, today the top features of the new release, I've just picked 4. So the main topic is the power dialer. We introduced the power dialer with the summer release, but now we have added really over 20 different new features. There are also from the live agent dashboard some add-ons. Then we have integrated sales engagement that is formerly high velocity sales. And we have made an addition to one of our Teams integrations. But these are just 4 topics I have picked. So what is the power dialer? The power dialer is not only for call center, it's really for sales. And the new feature here is that we have inbuilt a complete task or activity handling. So if you make a phone call and you do not reach somebody, then you can postpone the call to next day or in a week. And what does that help? You do not need to make a new task that you need to call. You automatically get the time when you should call in the power dialer. And of course, we have the call center functionality where you have campaigns with shared lists, and a lot of agents are working on the lists. So it's really sales with personal core campaigns and call centers. So we have the group call list, that's more the call center functionality, but also, for example, we internally use it when we have a webinar, the users appear in the group list, then everybody can pick the contacts who he wanted to call, and then he has it in his personal call list. But the main topic here is group call list, the administrator imports it, and then it's available for several users. The personal call list, everybody can build his own list where like my top customers, top opportunities, important calls, and then you get the contacts, leads, or accounts in your personal list. We will show that later in the live demonstration. Yeah, and the schedule list is the point which replaces the tasks. So you call somebody and you do not reach him, then you say, okay, I want to call in 2 days, and then you see it in your scheduled tab. But when the 2 days are over, it automatically goes to your calling list, and then it also shows you the minutes or days if you overdue if you do not call him. So that's in the end the task replacement. It's very easy to handle. It's just a click after the call, and then you have either postponed the call or set it to done. And it's like it looks like. So when the call is due, it then appears with the overdue time in your personal call list. Then after the call is done, you get a next action screen. So it's then the decision what you want to do. So you can either say, okay, the call target is reached, I set it to done, and then that's also new. You can select the campaign result. So there are dashboards where you can then make reports about the campaign results. Of course, you can define the list by your own, and that's in addition to the normal call wrap up. So when you make a phone call, at the end of the call, you can of course select a call wrap up, like arrange a meeting. But this is really the campaign result. What is the result from the campaign for this person? Or you can postpone it, or you can move the call to a colleague because you are going on holidays, and then you can move the call to a colleague. Then also brand new is a power dialer with automatic dialing. So it's configuration by the administrator. If he wants to allow that feature set, you see here at the bottom, there's an automatic dialing button. When you click it, it will pick the first entry, dial it, then you have your phone notes and everything. And after saving the phone note, there's a definition how many seconds the system waits until the next one is dialed. This feature is right now available with the release for your personal call list. For the group call list, we make an update, which is probably automatically pushed in October, and then you get exactly the same feature if you have 20 users working on one list for the auto dialing. Yeah, then for the Teams integration, perhaps you visited one of our Teams webinars. We do have different Teams integration, one based on phone systems like 3.6, GoTo, or Swix, and one is a contact center solution based on CC for All. And for that contact center solution, we have now the option that you can dial by email address and call any other Teams user worldwide. So the difference is you don't click on the phone number, which would then do a landline call. You click, you see it here in the screenshot, there's an own component. You click on that component with the email address, and then it's dialing any Teams user worldwide and makes a Teams to Teams call. And this call is also protocoled in the same way like it would be a standard landline call. It could be that we introduce that feature also to other Teams integrations we have, but this is a pretty cool feature. Then for the Live Agent dashboard, which was introduced 2 or 3 releases ago and which is right now very popular, we added a profile picture so that you can see the profile picture from your colleague. And we added the direct extension so that you can directly click on the direct extension and dial. So that have been requests from customers. So what does the Live Agent dashboard hold for information? The main topic is, of course, the present state that you see the colleague is out for lunch, he is in a meeting, he is on a call. So you also see if he is right now doing an inbound call or outbound call. You can add skills, you can add profiles. If the telephone system supports it, you see when there's an inbound call, the queue for the call, and you have a live chart because the dashboard is refreshing automatically how many calls are going on right now. And again, we will show you that in the live demonstration, but this is how it looks like, where you see here, okay, this user is in do not disturb mode. This user has just finalized the phone call and there's a call wrap-up time. Call wrap-up time, there's also a change in this release that the user can prolong the call wrap-up time. So you can define the default call wrap-up time is 30 seconds. And that means there's no call coming in that's 30 seconds. But if it's not sufficient, there's now a button directly in the soft phone where the user can prolong the call wrap-up time for this call. And here you see on a call and it's inbound, or on a call and it's outbound. Yeah, and the last feature is the integration in sales engagement, high velocity sales. It's fully integrated. That means it supports all features which Salesforce allows third-party applications to use. And the workflows are based on call results. So technically, you select a call result with CTI data connector, like send a quote, arrange a meeting. And this call result is then triggering a workflow in high velocity sales. And it's very easy to set up. Of course, the basis is high velocity sales or sales engagement, and you already need the setup in place. But then the combination and linking to CTI data connector is very easy. and we will also show that in the live demo. Yeah, that are the major topics I picked for you from the release, and now I'm handing over to Simon and to Chidobin, who will show you now how the features look like and in CTI Data Connector.
Okay, thank you, Dino.
Thank you, Dieter.
Okay, hello everyone from my side as well. I'm going to show you two of the features Dieter has already explained to us. So the first one is a feature which was added to the CTI Data Connector, I think with either with the last update or the one before, the Live Agent dashboard. Many of you have already seen it, many of you are already using it. So once it is added here and activated in the setup, we have the possibility to see the present state and just an overview over the colleagues. We have the possibility here to either filter them, to search for a specific record, or what is new here now with the new update is the additional column here with the profile picture. So this should be the profile picture which is also used in Salesforce. And what's also very interesting and which comes in very handy in the daily work is here the extension numbers. For example, you want to check, okay, is my colleague available? I need to discuss something with my colleague. And then you can directly check here, okay, the colleague is ready for calls at the moment, and you can directly click on the extension number and call your colleague so you can discuss the things. This extension number here is the default Salesforce field in the user settings. So there you can find the field extension or extension number. And as soon as or as long as that one is filled, then it will show up here so you can directly call them. Okay, another thing we have here in the Live Agent status dashboard are the charts you can see here in a separate tab, which are, for example, where you can see, okay, for example, we have one chart here regarding the present state where you can directly see, okay, how many of your colleagues are in which present state. This can also be changed for different kinds of charts or for different information, like for example, the call type, that you have an overview, how many calls are going on at the moment and how many of those are inbound, how many of those are outbound. Also the same goes for the queues, and you have different chart types you can use for the visualization here. Okay, so much for the Live Agent dashboard itself. The other interesting thing which Dieter has already mentioned is the direct dial via email. So it's a very handy feature if you are using the contact center from CC4All. Then you have the possibility to use the click to dial by email. This click to dial by email will, you can see it here directly. I have already added it here. This will initiate a direct Teams to Teams call where you can directly call someone else. So this is not issuing a call on the landline, for example, or on the mobile phone. It's directly issuing a call to the Teams client of the customer. And to add this one, you would go to the, for example, to the contacts, to a contacts page. Then you would switch to the edit page here. So you would go to this little gear symbol, go to edit page, and here you will see that there is an additional custom Lightning Aura component here. So if you scroll here to the bottom, let me just close this one. So scroll down here to the bottom, you will see that the CTI Data Connector will bring this Aura component along with it, which is the Mirage click to dial by email. And if you want to add it to your contact page layout, for example, you would just drag and drop it to the place where you would like to add it, save it, and then it will be automatically added for all of the users. Okay, so like I said, it will be created automatically once you install the newest update, and then you can add it to the pages where you need it. Okay, so that's everything from my side, and now I will hand over to my colleague Chewy.
Hi to all then. Thank you for coming on, and I will take over the screen right now to show one or two of these functions in Salesforce. Takes a moment. Okay, are you see my screen right now? Okay, I'm actually right now in Salesforce, where I'm going to show the power dialer in Salesforce. The power dialer is embedded, for those that are already using it, it's embedded in the CTI data connector. You have it in here as an icon, and you clicking on the icon actually opens it up. We have two options where let me say two options of core campaign lists that you can actually look at. The first type of list is like a group core campaign list, and you have a personal campaign list. I'm right now on a group core campaign list, which is the webinar attendees. On my webinar attendee list, I have then, let me see, all those webinar attendees on them, and have then, if I scroll through here, you see I have two contacts of the webinar attendee list on my personal list. That means these are people I've called before, and they are then, or I actually like transferred them to my personal list. I do have a scheduled call because maybe I called the customer and he wanted me to make a call again in 1 day or 2 days, and I do have now 1 hour and 23 1 day and 23 hours to call the customer back. I do have here a list of calls that are done, customers that I've actually reached, and taken off the call campaign list to done. And even right now with our new release, you can set a time also for done. That means for calls that are done, you can set a time to say after 2 days, after the call are done, they should be completely taken off the call campaign list. And this is something that can be configured in the CTI or with the call campaign right now. Going back to my general list, I can start with a call to actually show you how this functions. I start a call here by clicking on the telephone number. I do have a call which goes out then. Pick up the call gets active. It says Salesforce. I select then maybe my call wrap up to, I want to send some email to the customer, and then end the call. When we ending the call, I do have here automatically shown to me the possibility of like what should be the next step. If I say this call is done, then I choose done, gives me then a call campaign results according to what that's what Dieter actually said before, that you then have the possibility of actually creating a call campaign results which are then connected to single call campaigns that you have. And these call campaign results can then be chosen after calls are done. With that, you have data to really go back and say, okay, the campaign that I did, you have a report on the results that you actually get from that particular call campaign. Maybe I'll choose no further action required, and now I can then save my call. I will do a second call because I have a call here which is overdue. Overdue actually then means you set a time where you have where you want to make the call again, and the moment it gets overdue, it's then shown here, and there's a time calculated telling you, okay, this call is overdue since a particular time. This like was 50 minutes ago. With me calling, which I'm making a call now. Not getting a hold of the customer, and say, okay, I want to reschedule the call to say this is a call I want to take place again in 1 minute's time, for example. If I go on the schedule list, you see the call is scheduled there to be, and after that scheduled time, you see what will happen. It will then automatically be transferred to my personal call list for me to call the customer again. And what we do have right now, again, is if, let me transfer some 1 or 2 calls, so I can actually transfer calls from a group campaign list to a personal campaign list by just clicking. Example here, 2 and 3, transfer it to my group campaign list, to my personal campaign list. And if I go now to the personal campaign list, I do have all the calls here where I can automatically start the auto dialing of the call. Auto dialing then means as you then do a configuration on your system on how you want it to actually happen when the calls, when you get a customer, what's supposed to happen for this call to then automatically then be for the next call to be started. You see here, I did have 2 calls on my overdue list. Right now I have, on my scheduled list. Right now it's only 1 because the scheduled 1 minute call later, which I had, it has then expired and it's been transferred automatically to my personal campaign list. So these are all the functions that we have right now in the Power Dialer. You can also add contacts into the power. If you can add contacts into the Power Dialer, there are 2 types of ways you can add contact in the Power Dialer. You can do a mass transfer of contact. That means like calls coming from, maybe you have a campaign list where you have leads that are coming in, and from the leads level, from those leads, you can then do a mass transfer of those leads directly into your core campaign. Add to core campaign, for example. And you then choose what you want. If you want it to be, if it's a group campaign list or a personal campaign list. If I say it's a group campaign list, here is my group campaign list. I can say, okay, my 10 top customers, then add to that campaign list. If I go then right now to the if I go down to the Power Dialer again, pick then top 10 customers. I have then all these lists. These are actually you see the lists that I had here, which are actually imported through then the mass transfer of leads into the Power Dialer. Another function that we have that I want to show today, apart from the Power Dialer, is the high velocity sales or sales engagement as it's called today. In the sales engagement, I will start by adding Peter Schmidt as a contact to the sales to my work queue. I say, okay, add to sales cadence. Then choosing then the sales cadence where I want to add Peter Smith tool and add. If I refresh here, I will have Peter Smith automatically on the sales cadence. And if you look here on my activity bar with Peter Smith, you already see the task for today, which is to start to make the initial voice contact with the customer. Initial voice contact, I can start with the initial voice contact by calling the customer. Making it active. And I can choose right now, because that's what the CTI actually works with, or high velocity sales work with. You need some core results, and these core results are inbuilt into the cadence of high velocity sales. In this case, we have arrange a meeting. That means I have a lead or a customer. I've qualified a lead, and I'm making my first initial call with the customer to arrange a meeting. After choosing arrange a meeting and saving the call, ending and saving the call. If I refresh here, you see the secret automatically, the task automatically changes to arrange a meeting, high velocity sales meeting with the customer. I can refresh here, and I do have here arrange a meeting. Me deciding to say, okay, this meeting has already been arranged and I've had the meeting already. I will say, I want to, sorry, cancel. I'll say I want to like mark this task as completed. Here also, you have some information about the, let me see, the in-app guardians, which you can actually build for your sales people directly in Salesforce to give them an aid on how to go around with the customer. You have here automatically also with the system, with the fact that I've accepted, okay, the meeting have been made, and the next step of the cadence is then automatically called up, which is to do a post demo call. And if I refresh here, you do have then automatically that also post demo call with Peter Smith, and I can then make another call by calling to see, and that's the way it usually moves. You have then the in-app guidance, which is also here connected to the CTI data connector or to high velocity sales. Asking the customer, do you have questions concerning the code, and what should be then our next steps, for example. And here we do, it depends on what you really choose. So in some cases in your cadence, if you are building a cadence, you can really decide, maybe you want you want to connect the cadence with the core results you are choosing in the CTI. In other cases, you say, okay, you must not be connected, but you just want to have that contact with the customer. That all you can build, can be built then in the it can be built in the system. Okay, I'll choose just now. Maybe I want to send some information to the customer. I save. And I save the call. With that said, if I refresh, you see the next step of the cadence actually like then pops up on both sides of the system, where you do have here the last clarification before the code is being signed. And with that, I'm actually finished on my part. I will hand over right now to CodeStream. Before that, we need a poll. Can you please help us with a poll by going in which new feature are you interested in? We don't, like, for us, it's always important to get an idea on what our customers do want, what they want us to like extend so that they can better use our solution. So we do have here, in which new feature are you interested in? Power Dialer, the sales engagement integration, the Microsoft Teams dial by email, or the live agent dashboard. take some 30 seconds, and thereafter. Okay, right now I'll hand over to CoStream.
Okay, thank you very much, Chewy. So now we have come to an equally important point, namely the update installation. Up to 2 installations per year are priority support, as well as support via web meeting are included in our premium support. For us as a Mirage system, it is especially important that our customers are informed of all the new features and get everything presented. So after that, our customers can still decide which configuration for which function should be made by our side. So the different function required different amounts of time. So for example, the power dialer setup, including training, can be done by our technical support within 2 hours, or the live agent dashboard can also be done within 1 to 2 hours. Okay, then we go to the topic, what is coming next from our side. Soon is a native Microsoft Teams integration will be possible. So this means that pretty soon it will be possible to use Microsoft Teams without any contact center or phone system. And this works with direct routing and Microsoft calling plan. So this will be ready by the end of the Q4. If you are interested for this, you can contact our sales team under the email sales@mirage-systems.com for the presentation. Okay, then we have the topic of the upcoming webinars. On September 27, we will also hold a webinar for our power dialer and live agent dashboard. So at this webinar, we will dive deeper, especially into the new features of the power dialer and the live agent dashboard. So about it, if you are interested in more webinars from our side, you can also register on our website at www.mirage-system.com and watch more webinars from us under the webinar and video tab. So now I have again to hand over to my colleague Chewy from the Q&A session. Thank you very much. This was from my side.
Okay, let me come on. Exactly. So like if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Before that, we do have 1 or 2 questions. One of the question is a mass import for the power dialer possible? That's I'll give that over to Dieter, who actually talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we do have different options for a mass update. The one which is brand new is using Salesforce campaigns. Why do we use that approach? You can build a very complex report, which addresses you want for the call campaign. Then you add that report in a standard Salesforce campaign. And then that's the new feature. We can directly move the records from the standard Salesforce campaign to our call campaign. Let's say that's for complex scenarios. For simpler scenarios, you make just a list view like Chewy showed in the demonstration, and then you can directly import from the list view.
And secondly, maybe it remains with you, are mobile phones supported with the Microsoft phone system? Are mobile phones supported with Microsoft phone?
Okay, should I answer this? Yes.
Yeah, it remains with you, as I said.
Okay, yes. So using a mobile phone is also a question which comes up very often. For example, you work at home, you do not want to install any soft phone. And yes, with Teams, we support all kind of clients. That means really the standard Windows client, the Mac client, the browser Teams client, and also the mobile phone app. And when a call comes in and you have Salesforce open, that's the precondition. You must be logged into Salesforce. Then you can answer the call in your mobile phone Teams app, and it's then working in the same way like it would be a regular desktop client.
Okay, the next question is, can different campaigns have different campaign results? I would say, as of now, with our setup, yes. What you can actually do, like as I choose, I went, if you remember what I did during the demonstration, after the campaign, I choose then a campaign result. That's something you can actually like configure for single campaigns. Maybe you are running different campaigns which you are getting from maybe from the marketing part of your company, and you import those lists into our campaign list. You can then define different types of campaign results connected to those different types of campaigns you are running, giving you the possibility of actually like drawing reports on that later to have a better view of how this campaign actually ran through your system. How was let me say the engagement, how your engagement was with your customers. I see here I don't have any other questions open. So I will hand over to Dieter to maybe for 1-2 words before we then close, wrap up the webinar for today.
Yeah, so perhaps one question is, when is the new release available? It will be available in the last week of September. So we send out another newsletter, or you just go to our online help in the moment where the new release is available. It will be unlocked in the online help, and you will find a complete update instruction help, or you use our premium support, and then you get the installation for free. Yeah, and otherwise visit our next webinar where we go for 1 hour really in the configuration of the Power Dialer, different setup scenarios for call centers, for sales, also for support. Because if you are in service, you can, let's say, okay, you have to make calls for a ticket, and then you can place the call for a ticket in an own campaign, and all the support agents who are available would then see, okay, here there a call has to be made. So this will be then really a deep dive in the Power Dialer and in the Live Agent dashboard, including the complete configuration and setup options. I wish you a good afternoon. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye to all. Have a nice day.